Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We are going to talk about Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm very late to the party on this one, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So, when the Homecoming came out, I was talking to people about it and about past Spider-Man films and the fact that I'd never seen Amazing Spider-Man 2. I didn't not like the first one. Blooming heck. I did not like the first film. In fact, I really enjoyed the first film from what I can remember of it. I haven't seen it in a few years now, but from what I can remember, I did really enjoy that film. But nothing prompted me to see the sequel. And then all the reviews obviously came out for it, and people were saying how not great it was. So I sort of skipped it, bought the DVD anyway when it was on offer, or I got it in an offer or something. So I got the DVD of it and still hadn't watched it last night, didn't know what to watch, so I thought, screw it, we're going to stick it in and see what we think. I think, for a start, the first thing I'm going to say about this is I really like the acting in this. Garfield, Stone, their relationship in the film is brilliant. I think they're really good. They perform really well together. I mean, it's obvious why, but I'm just throwing it out there that I thought that was really cool. I feel like I've got something in this eye, and it's really annoying. I really enjoyed their chemistry on screen. Jamie Foxx's acting in this is brilliant. I saw a review when just after it came out saying that he seemed like he was the only one that really cared when they were filming this. But he's brilliant in this, and his character arc of why he does what he does in the film is really well done. They really, to me, they put a lot of thought into it about why he is acting the way he is acting. It shows you the bad side of Spider-Man being a superhero, which I thought was cool. Like the amount of hope that he inspires can cause people to go crazy when given power. That was sort of shown in this, in my view. I'm sure there's people that are going to completely disagree with me with this, and I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed that little part of it. The things that I didn't like about this film. I'm surprised people thought it was bad after they saw it and not before. For the one reason of 3 villains, right? Every single time people bring up Spider-Man and they talk about the old Spider-Mans, they enjoy the first 2 and hate the third one because they forced too many characters into it. There was too many villains in there, right? Who did we have? Sandman, Venom, and no, there was someone else. I'm sure there was. I haven't seen that film in so long. It's been way too long. But yeah, there was Green Goblin. I knew it'd come to me. There were 3 villains, and it was too many. People said it was way too many characters. We didn't need Venom in there. There was no need for it. We could have cut that out. That would have saved a lot of issues for some people. Then we came to Amazing Spider-Man 2, and they did the same thing. We had Rhino, Electro, and Green Goblin again. When I found out Rhino was in it, I was excited, then straight away went, I don't want to see this film, which is why I've taken so long to watch it in my head. And I don't know if it's a knock on the film or a help to the film that I came into this very negative straight away. People can't moan about 3 villains in one film, and then when they put 3 villains in another film, go, oh, this film could be good. Like, we're clearly going to get some issues here. Electro Green Goblin was okay. I liked the scene where Harry Osborn gets Electro as like his henchman, and he comes into a place and he's like, you've got like 3 chances or something before that's it, and he's like playing with people, toying with people. I liked that. Didn't like the Green Goblin at all. I didn't like the way he performed the Green Goblin or anything. I didn't like the fact this has got a lot of spoilers in it, but this is years old now, so you should know all these things already. Or not want to watch it. I didn't like the fact that Oscorp had all of these suits randomly. It was clear they were trying to build to the Sinister Six that completely failed. But I don't like the fact they had all the suits just there ready. Like, we're making these people at some point, like, why are they there? Who have you got to cast for this? Not even, like, film-wise, I mean Oscorp-wise. Why the hell have you got them? Who are they for? Who are you thinking of to put into this position? Yeah, so that was a bit weird. I didn't like the fact that, and like I said, I haven't seen the first one in ages, but I didn't like the fact when Harry was like, he put the stuff into his system to try and save his life, put the venom into his system to save his life. He then like starts just crawling towards the Green Goblin costume. Out of all the costumes for a start, why did he pick the Green Goblin one? And second, why? Why did he think that was going to help? What? I didn't get that at all. I knew about the Gwen Stacy death in this film. I was told about it beforehand. I wasn't surprised. People were like, I'm so surprised. And I was like, she dies in the comics. Like, what? I don't get why you've got such surprise and such issues with this. She dies in the comics. Like, I'm not saying this is how she dies. I don't think I've ever read the night Gwen Stacy died. I'm not saying this is how she dies in the comics, but I wasn't surprised they were going to kill this character at some point. Like, to me, you can't put Gwen Stacy in a comic book movie without, like, hinting that at some point you're going to kill her off. Because that was such a big story for the comics. So I don't know why people were surprised by that. Most of the action scenes felt like a video game. They looked like a video game. So some of the CGI was a bit iffy for me. There was a whole scene. I'm sure it was the like last fight scene in the generator area with all the like pylons. It looked like they'd cut it out of the video game that they made for the film. I never played the video game, but if someone showed me that and went, this is a actual gameplay footage, I'd be like, this game looks brilliant. It just didn't fit into a film for me. It didn't look like a film. I enjoyed bits of this film. I did actually really enjoy these. Some people complained about the fact that there was a lot of Gwen and Peter talking about their relationship, about how it affects everything. I enjoyed that. I liked the fact we were getting some like realism and a bit of like behind the scenes of, we got more Peter Parker than Spider-Man, and I like that. I enjoyed that to a point. But yeah, there was the bits that I've mentioned that I really didn't enjoy. I did not like Rhino in this film at all. All his scenes, every time he was in something, he looks like he was in a CGI booth. Like, he didn't look like he was in the place at all where he was meant to be. In the truck at the start of the film, he's got like the brightest background, and in some shots it's completely dark outside. Like, what? It looks bright where he is. What is this? And when he's in the Rhino costume, not a fan of that. It didn't look good. It didn't make sense. He had machine guns on his arms and then ran at Spider-Man. He was like, oh, let's go. I'll put the guns away now and just run at you head first and hope for the best, and then start shooting rockets? Like, I don't know. I didn't like Rhino. Paul Giamatti might make a good Rhino. I don't know. Because this wasn't Rhino to me. Like, the other thing that I don't get about the Rhino thing, right? They made like a big lizard CGI monster. They covered Electro in blue CGI, but they put him in a robot costume. Like, I don't really know much about Rhino from the TV shows and the comics and stuff like that. Spider-Man is one of the ones that I really want to get into comic book wise. Speaking of which, we bought Spider-Gwen quite recently. So I'm going to try and get into like more Marvel and more Spider-Man, Guardians and stuff like that. Because they're characters that I really enjoy, but I've never really sat down and tried to read before. But I've got a feeling like he's a man in a costume, or something happens and he genetically mutates into a Rhino. I don't recall ever a Rhino machine android thing. Like, I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. Why is everyone like CGI covered and he's in a robot? He's in a mech suit. Like, I didn't get that at all. wasn't a fan of Rhino. If they'd cut Rhino out of this film, which I'm sure lots of people have said before, if they cut Rhino out of this film, it wouldn't have made any difference. It was just like it was there for filler. Let's add some time to this runtime. And it could have been anyone but Rhino at the start. This is the thing that bugged me the most. It could have been anyone but Rhino. It could have been Paul Giamatti as that bloke, as like the actual version of Rhino, the human version of Rhino, and we never hear from him again. And it would have been a nice little nod. Like, it's one of the things that would have been like a little Easter egg to fans. Fans would have gone, oh, that's the person that turns into Rhino. That's a really cool little Easter egg. But because they turned him into Rhino, it became really awful. Like, there was no need for it. So yeah, it's not one I'd revisit anytime soon. But I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it as much as people do. But it is obviously not one of my favourites. Let me know what you thought, if you completely agree or completely disagree with me about any point I've made here, or think I'm stupid because I've missed points or completely got Rhino wrong. Let me know. I hope you enjoyed this, and I don't know what we're going to be doing next film-wise, so I'll see you again when I do another review.